Season 2 is officially here, and it's absolutely insane. We're looking at an all-out war, new realities, and a storyline that's gonna completely turn Fortnite upside down. That mini-event we just witnessed is actually part of a massive season launch, tying together all the trailers, teasers, and map changes. If you don't know the backstory, you aren't going to get the full experience, because everything connects back to the narrative they've been weaving since we first landed in Chapter 7. On this island, the Golden Coast, the Dark Voyager and his ship started causing trouble immediately. That's why the Order, who just set up shop on the map, reached out to Jonesy to stop him. They've been tasked with building a landing zone for the Rocket of the Seven. As a reminder, that's the crew the Order belongs to, the same group we met in Chapter 2 before they disbanded in Chapter 4. So we fire up a giant antenna to put out a call to all the group's members, and whoa, a visitor shows up. It's not the one we know from Chapter 1, but the one from the OG reality, because every Fortnite mode is a different reality, and so are its characters. This OG visitor decides to lend a hand because the Voyager has been busy snagging 0-point shards from different realities. We still don't know why, but we know it's a huge deal. The Voyager is actually almost done because he found one of the last fragments he needed, thanks to the snitch, Fish Stick, who sold out his own crew to save his skin. There's a massive snag though, in getting all the fragments back. One of them is chilling in the Ice King's castle, and recovering it isn't going to be as easy as just sucking all the water out of Fish Stick's reality. That area, as the name implies, is guarded by a seriously powerful character called the Ice King. The 0-point comics introduced him living all alone in his castle on an ice moon, with a mission to freeze anything that could mess up the universe. But the Ice King we saw in the OG event might not have the same vibe or mission as the original. I mean, I already told you that this new king is way more powerful than the first one. His ice even touched the Battle Royale icon, which basically signals that his power is next level, way beyond his own reality. This beefed up power is probably thanks to the fragment, and it was likely the key to freezing all those characters. But I'll save all that drama for later. Anyway, zooming back to the Dark Voyager and his mission to collect all the shards, he's probably convinced the Ice King to team up, since they likely have similar agendas. Like I said, we still don't know what their plans are, but this quick rundown helps us get why the Seven are getting back together to face off against the new Ice King and the Voyager, who just pulled off a mission that is going to completely flip Fortnite on its head for the next season. If you happen to miss the event or just want to check it out from a different perspective, the Voyager's ship started blasting a laser at the 0-point shards, which exploded and created all these branches of reality. And while this event might seem like a bit of a small-time story, what with what happened and how long it lasted, it's just one of the many phases we're getting, which Fortnite itself confirmed with this teaser right here. So far, 2 of the dates were trailers, March 9th and 12th, and the rest were phases of the in-game event. They were all pretty minor things though, like on the 13th when we saw the Voyager bringing down one more fragment. That fragment is the same one he swipes in the March 12th trailer when he dips into the fish reality. He not only grabs the chunk, but also drains all the water from the area. This is definitely going to be a new map location for the next season, right where the Lighthouse Rift is now. At least we already have the confirmed character for that reality, which is this octopus right here. Another portal that popped up during the event shows the Ice King's castle. Same deal here. We've got the character confirmed for the next season, and it's a safe bet the area will also be added right where the portal is now. Both this and the final event files have been in the game for over a month, and when the spots for the fragment first leaked, the Ice King's castle looked like this. Speaking of the new Battle Pass components, a lot of them are currently locked up by the Ice King, like the Foundation, or even Captain America if he actually makes it into the pass, and also by the Dark Voyager, who, as the trailer showed, traps the squid from reality 7021. But here's where a scene from the new collaboration trailer comes into play. If you look closely, you can see those ice prisons in the background are busted open. This answers one of the biggest head-scratchers about how all the new characters would be set free before Season 2. So what happened in Season 8 might happen again with the prisoners' release, and the same goes for the main mode. We still don't know what's going to happen there, but we do know it's possible now that they'll be free at the start of Season 2. Another mystery that might get solved soon is who the heck snuck into the new Ice King's castle and freed all these characters. In short, as you can see, the factions are beefing up every day. but there are still tons of doubts that we'll obviously see resolved as the new season progresses. I'm telling you, this season is going to have an even better storyline than the current one, and possibly a huge final event, just based on the name they've given the season. The whole vibe is like a mashup of Chapter 3's War Season mixed with Chapter 2, Season 5's. Both of those seasons had legendary final events, and with everything going on right now, I have zero doubt that we're about to experience another one of the most epic moments in Fortnite history. We finally know what's causing all the chaos. It's the reality rifts that Dark Voyager created during his travels. We actually got a look at one of those realities in the cinematic. This trailer is all about the lore, featuring the cube head who's currently hunting for the 0 point shards. That's why we're seeing this villain crew square off against the Seven, who are slowly but surely making their way back to the island. The trailer kicks off with a bang inside the Voyager's ship. We've seen it from the outside all season, but this is the first time we've gotten a peek at what's inside. It could even be a new location for Season 2, which would be totally sick. As we already know, Dark Voyager has been working with the last reality since the start of the season. Just like back in Chapter 2 with the Cube Queen, they've got an army of soldiers, the Elite Intruders, who actually dropped as skins ages ago. These guys are basically small Kevin-style cubes wearing humanoid armor, which we know from the second style of those skins. A small detail that's easy to miss is that they're gold, which suggests they're higher rank than the Chapter 2 versions, and will probably be a new style that gets added at the start of Season 2, though I hope they aren't a separate skin. I'm also betting there'll be rival bots that pop up to defend their boss, the Dark Voyager, and hopefully they'll all be chilling inside the ship. Their weapons actually look like two new Season 2 guns, and while they seem similar, one has a strap and a llama sticker, and the other doesn't. Now that we've checked out the army, the million-dollar question is why Fishstick has so much knowledge. The Voyager has him kidnapped, trying to squeeze out the location of the 0 point shard. My first thought was that Fishstick was like the Peely from Chapter 5, super knowledgeable, and that's why they snatched him. But the most obvious answer is that this Fishstick is originally from Reality 7021, which is where a 0 point shard ended up. While the Voyager searches for this reality on his screen, we can see a ton of interesting details, like how the fish shares DNA with regular fish, and that they all come from the same reality. On the fragment screen, we see 3 of 7. That last number is probably the total number of shards scattered across the universe, and this one is either the third they've counted, or the third one they're missing. As for the lighthouse blueprint, anyone paying attention to the story has already clocked that it's the same one we saw on the loading screen, which means we still have 2 more spots to travel to. One of them is the ice castle, which they showed in first trailer, and while the fragment wasn't in that video, the screen confirms it's there. The other spot looks like a desert or something. The last screen shows the Slurp sprites who arrived in Fortnite Chapter 6. In the next scene, the ship jumps to the new reality where the new Battle Pass skin is fishing. This is where the ship starts to suck up everything below it, which is Coral Castle. This location first appeared in Chapter 2 Season 3, but it looks like it's native to this world, and its inhabitants are all aquatic skins we've already seen in the game. Plus, there are several disguised Joneses who have somehow learned to breathe underwater. The trailer wraps up with the new skin landing on the ship, and the Voyager orders his soldiers to grab the squid, while he gets mad at Fishstick for ratting out where they were. That's how the new character gets to our reality and island, but theoretically they'll be trapped by the Voyager. So, we'll have to see how they explain the breakout in the upcoming videos. I'll give you my theory right now. One of those soldiers is actually Hope, or another good guy who's currently undercover in the Dark Voyager's army. That would explain why one SMG has a llama sticker and the other doesn't. It makes more sense than them being 2 different guns, though I wouldn't rule that out. I'm also fairly sure both the new skin and Fishstick will be NPCs next season, since the video ends with a message that the Fishstick will return. Oh, and everyone already knew this was a Marvel reference, but with this second scene, literally copying what they did in the first trailer, and what Marvel does with every trailer, it's 100% confirmed that they're pulling a Doomsday. I've already shared my theory that it would be awesome if we saw Marvel characters pop up over the next few months, leading to a collaboration in December when the movie comes out, maybe even another season or a mini-event with Marvel. The biggest question after seeing this trailer is whether Coral Castle will make it to the island. Everything suggested that the 3 zones with a fragment would be the new locations for Season 2. But now, after seeing this trailer, I've got my doubts because the area just seems to get drained of water, and that's it. Still, I figure the 3 zones will somehow be generated based on the image. So if I had to put money on it, I'd say yes, Coral Castle is coming next season. Circling back to the trailers, these aren't coming out randomly. They're following the end of season teaser that Fortnite posted a few days ago, the one right here. We've already gone through several phases. The March 9th and March 12th teasers are the 2 trailers we've seen, and the March 7th and 8th ones were the in-game events where the ship left and returned to the island. So, before Season 2, the only thing left is the event. We might get a mini trailer for that, but we'll most likely see an in-game event. Leakers have already shared the time, which I'll leave for you guys, and they're calling it a mini event, not a full-blown event. The most likely scenario is the leak from 3 weeks ago where the ship fires at the 0 point to open a bunch of portals. But the really interesting stuff is going down on March 18th, the day before the new season. After seeing all the trailers and skins and everything, we'll probably get the final trailer, either a gameplay trailer or a more extended story trailer that's not just focused on a couple of characters. Then, of course, on the 19th, we'll get the new season, and the new storyline, which honestly looks totally awesome, will kick off. If you're not totally caught up on the lore, you can do it right now. Want to know why the Visitor has been chasing Voyager across different dimensions? Or who our cube-headed buddy is actually working for? Believe me, this is just the tip of the iceberg, but let us take it from the top. You might not have noticed, but this season turned out to be the most lore-heavy one we have had in the last 2, maybe even 3 chapters. When was the last time we got voice lines?
She's stubbornly pursuing the Dark Voyager.
And more than 3 mini-events in a single season. And they all tie directly back to that original storyline created by Donald Mustard. The Visitor, the Rocket, the 0 point, and some sketchy suits. Basically, we are swimming in lore and new season info. So grab your popcorn, get comfy, and plug my creator code in the item shop if you want to support the channel. In the latest update, a rocket launch pad popped up right near the canyon. It is pretty hard to miss, and it showed up without any countdown timers or heads up whatsoever. So a massive shout out to our beloved Epics for throwing us that curveball. Though, if you are subscribed to my second channel, you were totally ready for it, since it has everything a Fortnite player needs, including the full event recording. Anyway, even if you have already seen the event, you need to watch it again closely, because this is far from your run-of-the-mill event. I do not know about you guys, but this event gave me some massive Chapter 1 Season 4 flashbacks. And honestly, it is super poetic, because that original Visitor launch from the island is what kickstarted the storyline that had millions of people hooked for at least 3 chapters. But a few years after our favorite creative director Donald Mustard left, the Fortnite lore honestly started falling off hard. And just when it seemed like there was zero hope for a comeback of the original engaging storyline, the Visitor rocket suddenly touches down on the island out of left field. And it did not just happen off screen. It was a full-blown mini-event, symbolically mirroring the original rocket launch. Why am I pushing this whole symbolism thing so hard? Because it would have been a cakewalk for Epic to just spawn another meteor on the map, or a pre-built Visitor rocket sitting on a pad. Instead, they actually put in the elbow grease and recreated the Season 4 rocket event almost play for play, just with a landing instead of a launch. The fact that the driving force behind the story, both back then and right now, is the very first member of the mysterious group known as the Seven, is a massive hint that the OG storyline has not just returned, it has evolved into a new phase. What is also interesting is that the Visitor flew through a red rift that opened up in the sky a couple of weeks ago. The kicker here is that this is the exact same rift that appeared after the rocket launch in the OG Season 4. Turns out, this alien has zero connection to the original Chapter 1 reality. He came from a parallel dimension and a completely different timeline. So, this is not the guy we used to know. It is an alternate version of him. So drop an F in the comments for our OG old-timer who started this whole mess, because his spot just got taken by a doppelganger from another world. So it turns out that when he launched the rocket in Fortnite OG Season 4, dude deliberately took off to hunt down the Dark Voyager. According to him, he has been hunting the Cubehead for a long time now, and along the way, he has visited dozens of dimensions that Voyager turned into absolute wastelands. And now, finally, this wild goose chase has brought them both to our island. By the way, I wonder if the skins for the Visitor and the rest of the 7 will hit the item shop? Well, just to be ready for when they drop, make sure you have got my creator code locked in your shop. Anyway, right after landing, the Visitor was immediately greeted by our squad, the Order, Jones, and Hope. But even though the first contact was pretty chill, a conflict of interest quickly flared up between the teammates. From the new voice lines, it is clear that Order wants to attack the Voyager right now, while the Visitor, who has already seen what the Cubehead is capable of, says that is a terrible idea. He even compared the Order to her sister, the Imagined, who sacrificed herself battling Gino. Looks like those words really struck a nerve with the Order, because after that convo, she went off to dig up dirt on the Dark Voyager solo. Speaking of the Visitor, this dude does not just talk.
She's stubbornly pursuing the Dark Voyager. Alone. In my reality, her sister was the impetuous one.
I can hear you, Viz.
Which is more than we can say about our old bro, but he is out here barking orders at everyone. He totally put Hope in her place, telling her she has zero clue about what is actually going on. Maybe in his reality, he was not just a member, but the actual leader of the 7. And since we are on the topic of voices, they got Ben Starr to voice the Visitor. But what is way more important is that this new Visitor knows a whole lot more than anyone else, and he is not shy about rubbing it in. For example, he literally chews out the Order, and the rest of the 7 for leaving the 0 point unguarded after taking down the Imagined Order. And if you think about it, he is dead right. That exact decision is what led the Nothing to discover the 0 point and kick off its invasion, meaning all the chaos we have been cleaning up for the last few chapters is basically the fallout from just one single mistake by the 7. Right out of the gate, the Visitor got straight to business. And honestly, the funniest part is that he does not sugarcoat a single thing. He straight up calls everyone fools for thinking it was a good idea to just leave the 0 point unattended. And he is right. He did not just bring a rocket with him either. Somehow, he found Amy and shoved her right into his ship's onboard computer. Though, to be real with you, it is probably not our Amy. Since the Visitor is from an alternate reality, Amy probably is too. So for now, it is a sick cameo, but nothing more. From what I am gathering, Order, Jones, and Hope are sitting tight, waiting for someone else to answer their SOS. Meanwhile, Order went totally off the grid to dig up some dirt on the Voyager. And honestly, it paid off big time. She managed to intercept a seriously juicy message. Turns out, the Voyager has someone covering his back, and Cubehead promised this boss that he would not drop the ball. What exactly is he not dropping the ball on? That is the million-dollar question right now. But the sheer fact that the Voyager answers to someone else changes the whole ballgame.